Very good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
I
Good
love
morning.
that. I love that. That's a lovely vibe. A very good morning and welcome to AES WHH Talk Show. This is Aisha Sheikh, the founder director of AES and also the founder of We Happy Homemakers. I have my two lovely admins here, Alia and Radia. And obviously, my AES team also helps us in moderating the WHH community and the AES community. So they are there too. And today, I want y'all to understand a different version of what depression, anxiety, stress means. We have Dr. Soamya with us. She's a clinical psychologist. She's also the founder owner of Mindflow. She is an amazing soul. I don't have to say much about her. You will realize the way she starts talking, the moment she starts talking, you guys will then realize, hi, ये तो अभी हमारा डिप्रेशन दूर कर रही है. She has a soothing tone. And we're trying our level best to keep this more interactive and engaging, inshallah. And I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Soumya. Dr. Soumya, over there, the lady in
Hi,
yellow.
hi, Aisha. Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Hi, Aisha. I would require PPT rights. Like, if you can share a right
Yes,
with me to share.
done. We are going to do that too. Done. You can directly share your PPT now.
Okay, all right. Right. So, hi, everyone. Very good morning to everyone. As Aisha said, today we are going to talk about mental health, stress, anxiety, depression. So before we go about talking about these technical stuff, I would invite all of you to take a moment to know how are you feeling right now in a present moment. And once you are aware and you are able to identify what you are feeling in a present moment, then you can share your feelings. Please feel free.
You guys can mention in the chat box as well. Oh, relaxed, calm. As of now,
Right.
curious, stressed, anger. Okay, stress,
Mm-hmm.
yes. We've started
Yeah.
getting
Morning hours are very stressed. Morning hours, like kids going
right.
school,
Mm,
husband going office. That 2, 3 hours is like we are walking on the toes.
Yes,
right.
And
true.
after a few hours, it is like we don't know what we are doing.
Mm,
Yeah.
Like
It takes
lost.
like 1 to 2 hours to settle down the morning thing.
right.
And that's where the publicity comes. We get into the WhatsApp groups, we'll check the messages, then Instas, then Facebook short reels. Then after that, the day again starts.
Right.
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 We got a lot of answers here.
Hmm.
Uh,
I can see in the chat box, like, some are feeling calm, curious to know more about mental health, stress, anger, stress, anxious since morning, lonely, left out, happy. A little anxious, can't manage time, lots to do in limited time. My energy will be drained out in few hours with my little ones. Right. Thank you so much for sharing your feelings and being genuine with your feelings as well. Why is it important to know how we are feeling in the present moment? Can anyone share? What, what do you think? What could be the reason of knowing our feelings?
The state of mind we are at present, knowing the state of mind.
Mm-hmm. Right, very true. The state of mind. So basically, when knowing your feeling is more like weather check-in, like when prediction, when like how the weather forecast will be, and whether it's going to be a sunny day, it's going to be a rainy day, or what kind of a weather it could going to be, so then you can manage yourself accordingly, you can manage your task accordingly. And if you know that it's going to be a thunderstorm, you will manage your task accordingly. Similarly, when you know internally how you are feeling, then you can, actually manage your feeling a lot, and then you make informed decisions as well. So thank you for sharing your feelings. And if you look at the responses, right? So some people said they are feeling calm, some said like we're feeling stressed, angry, little anxious, and a state of confusion, like I can't manage time, lots to do in limited time. So we are seeing that our emotions are on spectrum, right? So extremely sadness, extremely happiness, then there are in between gray areas, right? So we will be talking about all these things, like how our brain respond in different kind of situations. Say when we are feeling anxious, what happens to our brain, and when we are feeling depressed, what exactly changes in our brain structure and functionality. And also, like what are the symptoms or signs, say early warning sign also, for say mental health, and why mental health is important. you know can anyone share, like why we are talking, what is the need to talk about mental health, why is it important to take care of your own mental health or people around us?
Because no one speaks about it.
No one speaks about it. Okay, right.
When someone asks us, how are you? There's rarely
Hmm.
a time when somebody tells you that I'm feeling okay. The answer
Hmm.
is usually, I'm good. Are you fine? And then the topic just goes on to the kids or school, or it's
Hmm.
rarely about what we're actually feeling. So it's
Hmm.
great that we're talking about it today, and we need to speak about it because it's rarely been genuinely spoken and acknowledged.
Right, right. So, why is it important? It is really important to take care of our mental health. Why? Simply because, health is not just about physical health. It also includes mental health. When you are talking about health, we do take care of our physical health by doing exercise, by taking proper sleep, by, having proper diet, or maybe, uh, grooming ourselves, or maybe properly dress up, and like doing each and everything which will make us physically look appealing. And we do take care of our each and every aspect, how, like when I wear this dress, how will I look, we will try to match our footwears with our dress. How do I, n- n- what kind of jewelry I am going to put, or what kind of a anything which will go with our physical uh, looks also, we do take care of that. And that's how we do need to take care of our mental health as well. That's why it's important. Right. So this is why, like, when we say like we don't talk about our mental health, because lot of stigma is associated with it, because we feel that, mental health is a illness, whereas mental health is a normal. It's not just the absence of any illness, it's also about in routine, in day to day routine life, how we can maintain our mental health, because stress is integral part of our life. We can't take away stress from our routine life. For example, like as one of individual in the group participant said that morning hours are rushed, right? 2 3 hours are really rushed, and we as like females do experience, because we have to manage so many things in a limited period of a time in the morning. So that shows that we have to do multiple tasks and also manage things in a given time frame. So that requires our brain to do extra efforts, that require our physical and mental health to work more, in the sense more, put more efforts to meet those goals, right? So that's why we are here to talk about our mental health. Now I will share my PPT. Just give me a minute. And if you have any question, please feel free to write down, and we can take up all the question at the end of this session. And Before we go ahead, and I would also like you people, meanwhile, to reflect upon what are your expectations from today's session. You can write down in a chat box, and what would you like to learn from today's session?
You don't leave.
Girls, come on, let's have the chat box active. Put down all your questions here, and Dr. Soumya is going to address them towards the end. She's taking a moment to share the PPT. So, in the meanwhile, you guys can use the chat box online. Miss Veena is also here. Veena Auntie is also here. A very vibrant soul. Actually, living a stress free life. If you have not checked out her session, please do check out. We have already posted on YouTube. You will love it. Okay, we've started getting questions here. How to control anger. जादू की झप्पी ले लो आयशा से. Yes. Mood swings, anger, personal and professional life, how to handle them, overthinking pattern, yes. How to make myself feel important and valued, that's a valid one. Yes, it's what I agree. Uh, oh, Rashmi took the jadoo ki jhappi already. Lots of mood swings, unable to predict myself, right? Makbul says she wants to understand how to deal with mood swings during menopause. How to make stop feeling low without any reason, right? All this will be addressed towards the end. Dr. Soumya, you sorted? With housework, kids not listening, I stay with my son, and now even when I talk, he tells me, Mom, you're talking. Yeah, Aisha, it happens. I'm myself a teacher, and yes, mashallah, I have two kids. One's a teenager, and the other one is 9 years old. And one is like two extreme ends. One is trying to handle her own hormones and trying to understand the whole teenagehood, while I'm here trying to figure her out. So my son is trying to get inspiration from my daughter, and yeah, it's a whole thing. Well, when I came to Dubai, I was lonely myself. I didn't have any friends, to a point that I have thousands now. But there was a point that 2 years straight, I didn't have a single person even talking to me. The moment they would see, they would be like running away. I don't know what was written on my face back then. So, yeah, that kind of a situation I used to be. I went through postpartum depression for good 2 years. I got my 2 months baby here, and yeah, I went through this phase. Wherein, the only thing I could do is scream at my kids, even if there was nothing actually happening. Even, she didn't write something. Okay, didn't eat food. खाना खा लो, क्यों नहीं खाते? ये करते, सता के रखते. You end up getting that, and then tears burst out. Like, I shouldn't have done that. That regret feeling post that after you have blasted on your child, then that's terrible. And I think the moment I started working on myself, because I used to be a person who would be like, "Log kya kahenge?" you know if I'm not, I used to dress up for people. I used to be that person. I used to try looking good for people because I wanted validation from everybody. The day I stopped that and I started taking off all the toxic people from my life turned to be a better, it converted into a better peaceful environment for me. It was quite different, and it was a new life for me, to be honest. The success that I got, the life that I'm living right now, is because I stopped having the toxic people around me. I think, and the moment, and even if I don't have any meeting, I get dressed up in the morning nicely, like the way I am right now. I'll be like this every time. Like our girls would know, the ones, Alia and Radia. So this is how I am at home. I want to look pleasing. It's not because I want to impress anyone. There's nobody around. I just want to look pleasing. And then there's a lot of positivity around. I take care of my garden, take care of my plants, and do a lot of praying. Spiritual person also I am. So all this, these are like my self-love kind of thing. I go for a walk in the morning. I do work out. So I know it's not easy because I have my days wherein I don't want to catch up with that, and I don't want to go for a walk. I don't want to do anything. You know what I do? I'm in my auntie wale nighty. I wear it, and then I take a big rug and I start watching Netflix. I don't want to do anything. That's it. That's my day. That's kind of, maybe that's the kind of self love I want to do for that day. So yeah, it differs from person to person though. Now I've started reflecting on myself, and I have started building that bond with my kids. I'm kind of very funny and naughty with them. They're like, don't tell me, mama, you're embarrassing us now in front of our friends. And the friends are like, oh, your mom is so cool. That kind of phase I have come to. So there's a journey everyone has to realize. And for me, I don't get influenced very quickly. If someone comes and tries to tell me that, Aisha, this is what you have to do, this is how it is, it will pass. No, it doesn't work on me. I have gone through therapies and counseling, by myself, but it didn't work. The day it clicked me hard that, Aisha, this is what you have to do, let's try. And I have my pattern of 3 weeks. I consistently do for 3 weeks, then it becomes a habit for me. It works like that for me. And that's how I have moved forward in my life. So let's hear what Dr. Soumya also have to say. Dr. Soumya?
Hi
Shall we?
Aisha, hi Aisha,
Hmm.
just give me a second. There's
No
some
worries.
technique.
No
So
worries.
sorry. Just
That's
give me
okay.
a
That's
second.
totally fine. Our girls are writing. Yes, family is first. That's true. And people don't influence me much, but my husband does. He is one support system like I wish every person should have in different ways. Like it is in the form of my husband for me, but it can be a brother, father, anybody else, or even mom. Moms are usually the most supportive system, right? For how many of you it is? Oh, I can see the hands coming up. I think for my mom, I'm the support system. Ulta hai idhar. Inner awareness works a lot. That's true, Zenny. Yes, that's true. Even after we have members at home, it seems like I'm so alone, no one to talk to, no one to ask how I'm doing. That's right. Even I had my phase that ways. And I think many of them would. And for me, I realized the reason why I was quite depressed in my life were the relatives. They made my life hell for no reason. Even if I go today back to India, the first thing they say, क्या आयशा पतले हो गए, क्या आयशा काले हो गए, क्या आयशा मोटे हो गए. I mean, like nothing else to ask. कैसे है, वो नहीं चाहिए. काले पतले गोरे मोटे, ये क्या, कैसे कपड़े पहने, तुम्हारे रंग को जमा नहीं. I mean, like we have my roots are from Andhra, and that's the
Hmm.
reason we have that Hyderabadi thing. But it is very much common. They don't even realize कि सामने वाले को कैसा affect होगा उसका, and they end up talking all of this. And yeah, even when I started wearing sleeveless clothes and all, they actually pretended as if I'm wearing a bikini. It was that bad.
It is that bad
Okay.
in India, actually.
Still that bad in India, yeah. Because they define your character and personality through the clothes you
Yes,
wear. I
yes.
think Dr. Soumya is taking a moment. Yes, Alia wanted to say something. Yes, Alia, just a minute. There has been a delay. We are so sorry about that. It didn't work.
Yeah. uh, Actually, good morning, everyone.
Good
I
morning.
agree with Dr. Soumya regarding mental health only. See, basically, like we as mothers, we face lots of challenges with our children in whatever age group. The adult children like. Uh, However calm you are or however composed you want to keep yourself, yet there are times when things go really overboard. And this age of the children, when they are in that adult stage, it's really very very diplomatically you have to handle. But then some those anger builds in when the children nowadays children, they are very practical. They want all justifications for everything whatever we tell them. So how do we handle such mental stress with these children? Like, can you please guide us on that?
Right, sure. So basically, when we are talking about children, so the different age group, different requirements, like psychological needs of children also changes. When we are talking about young children, their needs are very different from us. Their demands in terms of psychological connection is very different. And when specifically we are talking about teenager, they need in this age, basically teenager, they start developing their own, forming their own identity, and they want their own freedom. And in that space they start hiding things from their parents as well, and they don't want parents to interfere in their personal space. They start relating more with their peer group, and they want everything to be shared with their peer. They wanted to fit in themselves in a peer group, like how their friend look. They want to dress up like that. They want to wear branded things. They want to like have their own personal space where they learn how to hide their emotions, how to keep their secrets and keep confidentiality and being a private person as well. And lot of impulsivity sometimes comes. A lot of shift is happening, lot of brain structural changes are happening at the time of teenage. So what happens, teenagers, they just they need that space where they don't want anyone to ask question from them. They really want a validation from their adults. And in when teenagers uh, right, so when we are parenting a teenager, so that means that we are having a adult, not a, like as a, we are parents seeing them as a child or a young one. We can treat them as equal. So avoiding any kind of comparison, avoiding any type kind of a criticism in front of other people, say like four people, our complaining attitude. So instead of just bombarding them with the information, what we can do is that we can build and nurture that relationship with our teenagers, spending quality time listening them rather than giving them lots of advices will help to build those relationships. So I usually tell my parents, who comes to clinic, that this is the time, basically, instead of giving them or keeping that authority figure, we keep our relationship as a relationship. Use this metaphor: when you deposit some amount in a bank, you go and open a bank account and deposit some money in that, then only you get an interest. So similarly, in relationship with teenager, you need to put some trust. You need to spend some quality time. You need to hear them with a non-judgmental attitude, without any biasness, like really practicing mindful listening there, where like you actually want to understand rather.
So
So and rather than just like with a half information, we start advising them, then it happens, usually teenagers, they shun off. They just stop sharing their information. So we need to create that unconditional environment where, like regard, unconditional positive regard for our teenager, and being a non-judgmental, then that will help them to build that relationship. They will feel that, okay, my mother or my father is really understanding with me, empathizing with me. And then they will be able to follow your instructions as well. They will be able to they will would like to seek a advice also from you then. Otherwise, when they find that their parents are going to give them advice, or being judgmental or being critical, then they stop sharing, and then they don't like anyone to give them advice as well. Would that help you, like help you in getting your answer?
Yeah, actually. Actually, those were lovely strategies, Dr. Soumya. One more thing I wanted to add here is like, see, I am a mother of, Alhamdulillah, three boys. There is a full boys gang.
Yes, definitely, Alana. We can take up more questions. So maybe like you can write down your questions, and at the end of the this workshop, we can go ahead with these questions, and we can start with our presentation, if that's fine with everyone.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Aisha. Thanks for helping me out with this PPT. We can please go ahead. Right. So I want everyone now you to be ready with these questions. You have physical health, so you can raise your hands up. And if you have experienced ever broken a bone or you have ever cut your finger, do you take care of your physical health? Yes. You have ever had a headache? Yes, I did. Had a toothache? Yes, I did. It's really painful and bad. And had a tummy ache? Yes, I did. And have you ever fallen and been in pain? Yes, we all do experience physical health issues. Then what we do take care of our health, right? Whatever it requires or demands our body requires, then accordingly we do take medication or some other strategies to ease that pain, right? Maybe we can go ahead next slide. Right. Okay, so now let's see. Now I want you to think of, do you think that we do have a mental health? Yes, I do. Have you felt happy in the last week? Yes. Have you felt sad? Yes, I did. Have you ever felt excited? Yes. Scared? Worried? Yes, we do experience all these emotions on our on day to day routine basis. Our experience, sometimes we feel excited, sometimes we feel scared, worried. So as I was telling you, our emotions are on our spectrum. So our mental health is also on spectrum and can range from good to poor. So there are days when we are feeling really motivated, enthusiastic, we are feeling good, and there are days when we are feeling very low. We don't feel like getting out of bed, we don't feel like motivated to complete our assignment, or we just feel overwhelmed by these emotions, right? and and there are days when we feel confident and we do each and everything in a very organized and a very calm manner. And the and you know poor mental health doesn't mean that we are having mental illness or something. Poor mental health just demands our attention, and it's the situation when we find that we are not able to cope up with the current situation. We are finding it difficult to manage our emotions, we are finding it difficult to basically manage things around us, and these situations are beyond our capacity, right? So this is where it's very important to take care of our mental health going forward. So when we when you hear mental health, what comes to your mind? First thing comes to your mind. You can write down your responses in the chat box. Well-being, feelings, okay, right. So, mental health is simply how we think, how we feel, how we deal with day to day routine life. That's what we mean by mental health. So, when it becomes a problem, when we find it difficult to cope with day to day routine activities, our mood, our emotions start interfering in our daily routine life. So, for example, if we are feeling sad or worried or angry or say irritated or frustrated, that start coming or impacting our day to day routine life, in the sense that it start coming in our relationship or at workplace. We are not able to meet our deadlines, or say we are not able to complete our assignments, or maybe small things in our relationship might trigger, or we find situation around us so overwhelming that we find that these are beyond my capacity, beyond my control. So that's when we say that it is something that's require your attention, that's concern, that's some intervention is required, and that's where we need to be very specific, without ignoring, without feeling ashamed. We can seek assistance from people around us or from professional, given that whatever we are experiencing, these all are very common human experiences. We all have experienced at some point in our life feeling of sadness, worried, being scared, being overwhelmed, irritated, frustrated. We do experience all difficult emotions. So the only key is how we are able to navigate these emotions. That's really very important. So navigating the difficult emotions will help us how we are going to respond to these situations. So mental health comprises of different conditions. So today we are going to talk about anxiety and depression. So what is anxiety? Anxiety is simply a natural response to a stress. So anything which requires you to work beyond your capacity will threaten you, will require more efforts, will require more energy. So that will, trigger a response that will trigger some anxiety. So that's where, when anxiety becomes chronic or overwhelming, then it becomes a disorder. Then when it starts impacting our daily routine functioning. So there could be different kind of anxiety disorder. It could be generalized anxiety disorder, where we are all the time worrying about the things, what will happen. We will try to anticipate, procrastinate about the things, ruminating about the things. There can be panic disorder like phobia and other social anxiety disorder, where, like, person feels very anxious going in a social setting, meeting people. So they avoid, social gatherings. They love to be alone. They like, their own company. But when it comes to, social situations, they avoid, because their heartbeat really increases, and then they feel sometimes breathless also. They get some physical symptoms of anxiety as well. And so basically, if we have to understand, the core features of anxiety is excessive worry, restlessness, irritability, muscle tension, and increased heart rate. So you must have noticed, before exams, we all have, uh, these situation when we have to perform in front of public. We have this stage performance anxiety, or say any presentation, or having some meeting. So if you take a moment, and reflect of those situations, when did you experience anxiety last time, you will notice that, on those situations we had this period of irritability, or sometimes fast, heartbeat, or maybe some excessive worry, where we find ourselves so restless that we are not able to focus on one particular thing. And you might have even seen that our kids, they might even use this word, that I'm feeling worried, or I'm feeling tense. So exploring those words, what exactly they mean by, how they experience anxiety, how we experience anxiety in our body. So it could be different for one person from the other person. So for example, if I'm feeling anxious, my anxiety symptoms could be different from the other person. So for example, when I'm feeling anxious, maybe I find it difficult to focus, or I might be not be able to concentrate, or some other person could have more, severe kind of a headache, or some might could have, you know heart fast breathing. So it depends upon person to person. So when we talk about depression, it's majorly persistent sadness. It's a mood disorder where like a persistent feeling, continuous feeling of sadness remains there, feeling of hopelessness is there, lack of interest in pleasurable activities. Whatever activities you are enjoying, when a person is in a depressive state, that person is not able to enjoy uh, you know activities which were earlier more pleasurable to that person. So for example, a person who enjoys or love cooking, maybe when the person is experiencing a mood disorder, may not be able to enjoy cooking or maybe swimming or any pleasurable activity which is usually a source of happiness or pleasure for that person, will not be able to enjoy that thing. So experiencing sadness for a longer duration of time, and feeling of worthlessness, hopelessness, and helplessness. So there are three core things, like feeling of helplessness, like nothing can be done, kuch bhi nahi ho sakta, I can't come out of this phase. Hopelessness, there's no hope for, like, things can get better in my life. And then worthlessness, that I am not good to handle all these situations. Hopelessness, helplessness, worthlessness, these three core features with persistent feeling of sadness and lack of interest, this all are core symptoms of depression. And it is not a temporarily emotional state that today I'm feeling sad and tomorrow I'm fine. And also depression is basically having a persistent, that's again a highlighting thing, that persistently I'm feeling sad, I'm not able to find any pleasure in any activity. So this is not a temporarily emotional response, it's pervasive, long lasting condition. Also, when a person experiences depression, they might feel low on energy level, they get tired very easily, they find change in their sleeping pattern, their appetite, sometimes they don't feel like even eating, they don't feel hungry, and they find it difficult to concentrate, and there are thoughts of self harm and suicide. So there is no harm, even if you find someone talking, that you're finding changes people around you, you notice that this person or your loved one is not able to sleep properly, or finding low self esteem, or not eating their food properly, not able to focus, then it's important to ask them how are they feeling, or what's the situation which is bothering them. And when that clearly the person is feeling sad for from a say continuously for couple of weeks, and also it's always n- mandate to ask, like what is bothering them, what is like there in their head and all. So key symptoms which we need to check for ourselves and the people, loved one around us, we can observe. So if you notice that there is a persistent sadness, or being anxious or empty mood, so then that's also these are key points to take care of when we are observing any change in our mood patterns. So these are just we are sharing to become more aware, but not these symptoms are to self diagnose ourselves, right? So feeling of hopelessness or pessimism, that you notice that every time the person is feeling negative or finding negative in all situation. Feelings of guilt, worthlessness, and helplessness, loss of interest or pleasure in hobbies or activities, including sex, decreased in energy, fatigue, or feeling slow down. You will find that their psychomotor activities are slow down. So even like you will find like they are walking very slowly as compared to their normal speed of walking and all. Difficulty concentrating, remembering, and making decision. You will find them very blank sometimes, time at their face, or very confusing, like and find it very difficult to take any kind of decision. They also experience difficulty in sleeping. So sometimes they will find it difficult to get up in the morning, or oversleeping, or sometimes it could be difficulty in falling asleep as well. So they don't have this continuous 5 6 hours of a sound sleep. You will notice a change in appetite, weight loss, or sometimes overeating is also a symptom of depression. So these symptoms doesn't work in isolation. There is like a whole gamut of things we need to see. If we find that the person is not falling asleep, or finding it difficult in sleep, then we don't need to label anyone. So these are the things, not to label, but just to become aware and to be sensitized about, okay, these are points to keep in mind, to be aware and to be aware about, and take a proper help in the sense. So any thoughts of suicide or suicidal attempts that need to be taken care of. Restlessness, is the person finding so hopeless that he feels that it's better to finish the life, there's no hope, that I can't do anything. So when you see that any person giving these such kind of statements, we should not ignore those statements, and we should not feel like ऐसे नहीं होता है, life is not to finish, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. So these are the statement which will not help that person. Rather वो person will feel कि they are not understanding me, they are not able to empathize with my feeling. They will rather you know uh, become like a close person. They will not share their thoughts further. If we will just give a statement, okay, कुछ नहीं होता, सब ठीक हो जाएगा, everything will be fine. And also it's important, whenever the person give any indication of um, that they want to end their life, so it's important to take a professional help. Any kind of irritability, restlessness, or consistent physical symptoms, and despite the fact that the other test and other physician has checked, and there are no diagnostic features or symptoms of any other condition, so then also it's a sign of depression. So basically any changes in our mood, any changes in our thinking pattern, in our physical health or social connect. If we have to divide these symptoms in four domains: physical health, like how we are here, and then our emotional, then our cognitive. Emotions include our self esteem, feeling of worthlessness, hopelessness, and then irritability, restlessness. And then cognitive is like thought, remembering, whether I'm able to recall the things, I'm able to make decision. And physical is like my eating, sleeping habits, and my psychomotor activity. So all these 4 5 domains need to check in. So what are the differentiating factors between anxiety and depression? Till now, if you have any queries, please you can write down in the chat box, or we can continue as well. We will cover this bit first. So when we are talking about anxiety and depression, there's a very thin line. That anxiety is a basically heightened state of alertness, that there is a constant apprehension about what if this will happen. So a lot of what if situations will come in. And depression is basically prevailing a sense of sadness, like persistent sadness and loss of interest in the activities which are we used to enjoy earlier. And anxiety, you will find a lot of physical symptoms related to rapid breathing, sweating, muscle tension. So basically um, any situation which require us to uh, you know uh, go beyond from our comfort zone, that also create any kind of stress or say anxiety. And But whereas depression is a consistent thing, it's like a mood disorder. It's a consistent sadness and loss of interest in activity, whereas in anxiety we might enjoy things where we feel comfortable. And there are different kind of anxiety disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, where we keep on like 24 hours we are thinking about something, or what if this will happen, almost like everything finding out negative in everything. Anxiety also involves like a fight and flight responses. We want to sometimes, want to fight with the situation, in the sense that we will gear up ourselves, that okay, I want to perform, I want to do, I want to make this thing happen. Whereas depression, we lack motivation, we don't have energy to engage in day to day routine activities as well. So majorly we can differentiate these both disorder, anxiety and depression, in this way. We can go ahead. Right. So just if we have to understand like how our brain works with these uh, basically different states of our mind. So we uh, mental health, if we're talking about that, emotions are on spectrum, similarly our mood is on that way. So I want you people to know about what makes you feel happy. This is like very rapid. Maybe we can, instead of chatting, we can have it on, like you can raise your hand, or one by one we can like share what makes you feel happy. Aisha, you can ask.
Yeah, what makes you feel happy, girls? बोलो जल्दी, आयशा को देख के खुशी होती है, बोलो जल्दी जल्दी. I think for me, I'll start first. For me, I
Hmm.
think if I make anyone smile or if I'm able to help anyone, that makes me
Mhm.
happy. Like that's at most level of happiness. It's been there since 2 years. Before it was like materialistic. I would get happy if I buy clothes, shoes, this and that. Now it's when I help someone, and that's my agenda
Mhm.
for life. So yeah, that is one. Now, हाथ ऊपर
Right.
करो जल्दी girls. Ranbir is here. Yes, Ranbir.
Yes, ma'am. So, spending time with my daughters and eating lots of fruits make me happy.
Okay, right,
We
great.
almost same watching a movie with kids and my husband. Either he
Oh,
is on my lap or like I just love that moment. The best
quality time.
moment ever.
Mm-hmm.
Best.
Okay.
So I don't care whether the time is 12 or 12:30, but I keep on, let's sit, have
Amazing.
cakes, everything.
Amazing. Yes, Alia.
For me, happiness is when I give back to the society, the people who need me. That gives me total satisfaction, and this satisfaction naturally leads to giving me a like happiness.
Right.
Yes. Very much on same plate. Radia.
Hmm.
Yes.
Cooking.
Cooking, yeah, cooking is that is secondary. The primary thing is my family. When my family, someone is very happy, I'm very happy.
Right,
Whoa.
right. Great.
Who else?
And
Swati is here.
Lots of nature.
Oh,
mhm,
wow. That's one of my happiness.
right. And what makes you people feel sad?
I'll start first then. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have a little issue. Like, normally I love everyone, I'm friendly with everybody, but there are very few who get into my very inner circle. And
Hmm.
when they end up hurting, I think that's the worst part for me. Otherwise, I'm not a
Hmm.
person who gets sad as such. दूसरों को भी
Hmm.
नहीं होने देती ना खुद होने होती.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
who's next? They're writing in the chat box or what? The other girls. Currently, I'm not. I don't know why. It's me. Okay, nothing makes me feel happy, says Aisha. Aisha, of course, after this session, please connect with me as well. No one's writing in the chat box. Who wants to tell what makes you feel sad? Avina auntie, yes. She's my
हाँ जी।
favorite, Dr. Soumya.
अरे
Right.
मेरी फेवरेट सब हो आप।
Hmm.
मुझे खुशी तो होती है कि बस सबको खुश देखते हैं जब खुशी होती है, और दुख
Hmm.
इस बात का होता है कि सब कुछ होते हुए भी जब कोई छोटा मुंह बना के दुखी होके चलता है ना, उस बात से मुझे दुख होता है।
Hmm. Right.
मैं चाहती हूँ कि नहीं, कैसे उन स्माइल लाऊं, कैसे उसके अंदर एनर्जी लेके आऊं, कैसे वो खुश रहें, क्योंकि मैंने अपने घर में खुद ये मेंटल इश्यूज देखे हुए हैं। मेरा भाई 25 ईयर्स इस मेंटल हेल्थ की वजह से सुसाइड किया। उसकी वजह से फिर मैं ये सब सीख रही हूँ। मैं पढ़ी लिखी नहीं हूँ बेटा, जिंदगी की पढ़ाई की है मैंने, कॉलेज नहीं पढ़ा है, मैं पहले ही
Right.
बोलती हूँ। पर फिर दूसरे किसी को मेरी फैमिली में हुआ, मैं कैसे इधर लेके आई, इंस्ट्रूमेंट बनी, उसको कैसे 4 महीने के अंदर स्ट्रॉन्ग करके अभी अपनी फैमिली मस्त चला रहा है। मैं आजू बाजू जिसको भी देखती हूँ दुखी है ना, मैं सिर्फ टेक्स्ट नहीं करती हूँ, आपको पता है आयशा, मैं खुद फोन करती हूँ।
हाँ,
सिर्फ टेक्स्ट करने से कुछ नहीं होता है कि फेसबुक पे डाल दो आई एम देयर व्हेन यू फील, और प्लीज कॉल मी। जो लो फील करेंगे वो कॉल नहीं करेंगे आपको। आपकी शक्ल, उनकी शक्ल देख के आप समझ सकते हो कि उनको क्या तकलीफ है। ये
Right.
फेसबुक में 4 जने पोस्ट कर दो, 6 जने पोस्ट कर दो, मैं कभी नहीं करती हूँ। आई
सही
बिलीव
है।
इन डूइंग, नॉट शोइंग।
Perfect
मैं करेक्ट
example.
बोल।
Yes, perfect है. And one thing about वीना आंटी is आप पढ़े लिखे नहीं हो, but आपके पास लाइफ के एक्सपीरियंस जो है वो आई थिंक मैंने काफी सारे आपके पास से सीखे हैं, काफी चीजें ऑब्वियसली फ्रॉम ईच ऑफ दिस गर्ल्स, बट आपसे मैंने काफी आपके लाइफ एक्सपीरियंस से सीखा है. सो यस, दैट आई थिंक दैट मैटर्स द मोस्ट एंड यू आर सक्सेसफुल एट द एंड ऑफ द डे. और क्या चाहिए? पढ़ाई काम नहीं आई वहां पे. सो या, anybody else who wants to share? What makes you sad? Nothing makes you sad. Rashi, yes, darling.
हेलो।
Yeah.
हाँ, मुझे खुशी तब मिलती है जब मेरे बच्चे खुश होते हैं, और मैं जब कुछ उनके लिए व्हेन आई कुक समथिंग फॉर देम व्हिच दे लाइक, आई फील वेरी हैप्पी. आई फील सैड व्हेन some misunderstandings happen in the family or any controversy. I avoid controversies. I run away from controversies. I like to make people happy and be happy with them.
Yeah, Janvi ne likha hai, fights in the family make her sad. That's so I think very much on the same plate. Yeah.
Right. So anything which is very close to us, and usually family. If family something happens in our family, that makes us feel happy and as well as sad. So I want
Yes.
now you to reflect upon what makes you feel anxious.
Anxious. Yes. I have like 2 minutes of anxious time every time I walk up the stage. ऐसा लगता है दुनिया पूरी खाने वाली है मेरे को वो 2 मिनट में. And the third minute and then I'm all bold. It's just that. So I think that is the only time I face that, when I face the audience. Earlier I used to be an introvert. Obviously I changed my lifestyle. Since 5-6 years I'm like the most extrovert person ever. But I used to be an introvert who would run away from people, and even if the teacher is like 1 meter away for the role play time and all we had to say, my voice wouldn't reach the teacher. And they would be so fed up of me. I was the ignorant child in the class, the last bencher. And then suddenly the life changed like this. So yes, that's my
See,
anxious moment.
we have like very live example in front of us where like we can see like a extreme change in our emotions and personalities. So now the research shows that we can actually alter our brain. We can change the structure and functionality of our brain. Right. Thank you so much, Aisha, for sharing. Anyone else?
Swati is raising the hand. Yes, Swati.
Think the future of children, our children, the future generation, there is a lot of goodness in the world, yes, but there's also an equal or more amount of negativity, of
Yeah.
illness that we foresee it and we see them going that path and we feel, oh my God, if we could just take a step back, but we've got to watch them go through and learn. So that gets me very anxious. Not only our son, but also the entire future generation as a whole. There's so much starting social media, and it gets to me. It takes a lot of work to not be affected by it, but it's quite scary.
Yeah, in the
Right.
current situation going on right now, I think that was one of the reasons even got into depression straight. And tears were just flowing. I didn't understand what was happening. I lost interest on everything. My meetings were all cancelled. And because I was constantly seeing that on Instagram, the Palestine, everything that's been happening over there. I've reduced it, but all I can do is right now pray, and that's what it is. So yeah, Swati, I'm with you on that. Anybody
Right.
else who wants to pitch in and say when it makes, Ranbir wants to tell. Nobody else, किसी को आता नहीं anxious वाला feeling. अपने को ही आ रहा है 4 लोगों को इधर.
Yes. So I feel anxious when we have lot more to do during a day, and on each front, whether it is domestic work or you are at the work, all things you have to perform superb, and all are expecting that you will be best at each and everything. But at the end of the day, sometimes they make you feel guilty because you are not performing well or to the up to their expectations. So that's make me sad or anxious at the same time.
Hmm, hmm. That's true. All the situations you are sharing, you all people, I am able to relate with it. See, I am sure like other people who are not sharing, they must be, able to relate with your experiences as well. Because, we all, at the end of the day, as a human, we want appreciation. We need to be, feel uh, acknowledged. We need to be heard. We need to be valued. So whenever we face any kind of criticism, whenever we face any kind of comparison, or say any kind of humiliation, or any loss, personal loss, so we all experience all these, spectrum of emotions, or majorly say uncomfortable big feelings. And some people take some time to cope up, but some are, very easily able to bounce back to this situation. But we all agree that we all have these phases of anxiety, feeling sad, or say restless, irritable, or having low self-esteem even, for, for that matter. So thank you so much for sharing your, personal thing and sharing your feelings. So, first step is acknowledgement that, yes, I do experience these emotions. We acknowledge this feeling. Once we are able to acknowledge our feeling, then we are able to create that space within ourselves of knowing how to manage these feelings. So let's understand, like, when we are feeling anxious or depressed, how, our brain also changes. Even very smaller things or very neutral things in our day to day routine life can trigger these emotions. So so for example, when we are feeling, Aisha, can we have that screen where we can
Yes.
see brain? So whenever we are feeling that, anxious or something, so I will make use this metaphor of brain house. So for example, we are living in a house. There is a house, and there's a ground floor and first floor, right? Ground floor is all your feeling, be it your comfortable feeling or uncomfortable feeling, all sort of, emotions and all big feelings. So that's the ground floor. And first floor is your thinking brain, your logical, rational, thoughtful decision making, attention, problem solving. All these rational, logical things are in your first brain. So ground floor is basically your emotional brain, or you can, we technically call this the amygdala. So amygdala is the brain, part of the brain which is responsible for processing all emotions, all negative emotion, including your fear, anxiety, or any kind of, emotions. And thinking brain is your first floor, where, all responsible decision making which we take, rational thinking, it helps us to regulate the emotional responses. So what happens whenever anyone comes at home and they ring the bell, who will be able to approach? Ground floor people will be able to come, or first floor people? But
Ground floor.
naturally, ground floor will open. So that's when we immediately react to the situation. We immediately experience emotions and react. So whenever there is someone and then rings a bell, emotional brain acts out. It immediately, whenever there is any stimulus or any situation, our emotional brain, emotional mind just act out, and later the message is being sent to the first floor that something has been happened or something requires our attention. Meanwhile, till the time the message is being sent to the first floor, emotional brain hijacks our thinking brain. Then we are not able to take proper decision. We lack focus. We are not able to concentrate on what we are, what we need to do. These emotions are all over the place, and then we find it difficult to concentrate what need to be done. Our fear overpowers our thinking brain, and our all big feelings actually overpowers our prefrontal cortex, which is this area of the brain, and we are not able to clearly see the situation. Then there is a third component of the brain, which is hippocampus, which plays role in depression. Many times, you must have seen around that depressed people, they are not able to recall the information, they forget things very easily. That's because the hippocampus area, which is involved in memory and learning, gets affected with the chronic stress or with the condition of depression, where that hippocampus area in the brain gets shrink. Then the person is not able to recall the information, is not able to make a wise decision as well. So these are the three areas which are very importantly related to emotional processing, thoughts, and logical reasoning and memory. So these three areas are affected when we are having all these emotions. So when how we can alter? So even there are some neurochemicals which we call the neurotransmitter, so they also get altered when we are experiencing anxiety and depression. So there are some neurotransmitters which are like serotonin, oxytocin, norepinephrine. So when we are experiencing these mood disorder, there is an imbalance between these neurotransmitters. So when we are saying we are feeling happy, so then there is a release of dopamine neurotransmitter in our through our neurons, which is basically a pleasurable or a happy hormone also. And when we are feeling uh, stressed or say anxious, then there is an imbalance between the serotonin and norepinephrine. And oxytocin is also we call a happy hormone or a love hormones, which is usually released by engaging in with kids or your loved ones, or when we are spending some time in hugging or say spending quality times with our loved ones, then this hormones is released. So basically oxytocin and dopamine, they are responsible for having positive emotions, and whereas imbalance in serotonin and norepinephrine are related to depressive state. Now let's talk about these statements. You can tell me whether these are true or false. You can write down in a chat box. Mental health means that you feel calm, relaxed, happy all the time. Yes, no?
Or else everyone can unmute and answer. That is also fun together.
Yeah.
False.
Yeah, let's do that. What's the
Yeah.
answer for the very first one?
True.
False.
False.
Yeah, that's right.
False.
So mental health doesn't mean that we are all the time feeling happy, calm, and relaxed. It's on the spectrum, as we learn. Sometimes there will be days when we are feeling happy. There might be days when we are feeling low on our self-esteem. And mental health is connected to our physical health. Do you
True.
agree?
True.
True. I
So
agree.
you must have experienced when we are feeling physically low or having headache, we don't feel like even talking sometime to someone or doing something, right? So if we are even feeling irritated or frustrated or having anxious feeling, physically also our energy levels are low. So third is you only need to take care of your mental health if you have mental health conditions.
False.
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 Everyone agree?
False.
False.
False. Yes. So the way we take care of our physical health on day-to-day routine basis, similarly, we need to take care of our mental health on day-to-day routine basis. For example, if we know that going out in the sun, we need to apply a sunscreen or take umbrella or something, cover, wear full sleeves clothes or something. So we are taking care of our physical health. Similarly, on daily basis, we need to have a mental health diet, right, which includes so many factors like taking having something related to things which have some meaning or purpose or make us feel happy, or having doing indulge in activities of self care or some other things which ensures that we are taking care of our mental health, right? Next is nothing can be done to protect people from developing a mental health condition.
False.
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 False,
False.
right? Right, that's false, right? Okay,
Smarty pants.
okay. So, uh, we were talking about mental health. Now we are going to understand about emotions, that emotions are also on a spectrum. And the key to well-being is finding a healthy balance between the emotional states. So life can't be on the corner, on the edges, like either I'm feeling happy or extremely sad. Majorly we have this gray area middle pathway, which is like where we are experiencing sometime low, sometime high, but then we are able to find that balance between us. Internally we find that balance between these emotional state where we are able to cope up, or we are able to bounce back to this normal thing. So for example, if say we stretch the elastic or rubber band, right, so we are able to take it to extreme. But what happens when we lose it or we leave it normally, it comes back to the normal state. So that's where we have to find out the balance between our emotional state. Also, it is important to understand when we are talking about happiness, reclaiming our happiness. Happiness doesn't mean that we have to be in constant state of euphoria, right? Happiness simply means sustained happiness. It's not momentary happiness where we are talking about materialistic thing. Happiness means like having a meaning in our life, having the flow in our life, finding a purpose in our life, what exactly makes us feel happy, viewing situation or our life from a larger perspective. What is bigger aim, what is a bigger picture, what how I can contribute in that bigger picture is a source of ultimate happiness. So that need to be because that need to be understood, that need to be practiced on daily basis, because these are these are the situation which triggers emotion on day to day routine basis. If I am not able to perform according to my expectation, then that person feels upset, that person feels anxious. Why? Because then there is a lot of this thing is happening, a lot of self critical attitude is there, then there is lot of self judgment is happening, then there is lot of self judgment, critical attitude, we compare ourselves. So human mind is very much prone or vulnerable to hold on to negative things. So if in a day we have say 10 experiences or 10 situation, and out of that 7 were positive and 3 were negatives, you will find that mind will just hold on to negative thing. So someone in the group was sharing that even though you do everything, as a female we do everything, take care of our household chores, manage our workplace, our businesses and everything, something or other will left out. And people, we will hear from our loved ones that you were not able to do these things, you are not good for enough. And then we will start finding a fault within ourselves. So what we are doing, we are actually then comparing ourselves and then having critical attitude. So that's where the surge of negative emotions will start, and then we will not be able to focus on what was good during that day, right? So we need to bring a shift in our attention where we are able to reorient our attention to the present moment. We can go ahead, Aisha, with that. Like how we can manage these negative emotions are not always bad. They are basically preparing us to find a balance. They are trying to tell us to set boundaries with that thing. They are also trying to tell us that there is something we need to rework or give message to the people, so that we can set a proper boundary around us, right? Or maybe like working upon your own self, not start having a self doubt, like okay, maybe I'm not good, right? So understanding your own strengths, what are my strength areas, what makes me feel happy, what is my ultimate purpose of life, and how I can nurture that purpose every day, spending some time on daily routine basis which makes you feel happy or maybe calm or relaxed, and connects you with the bigger picture of your life, right? So that way you are realigning your yourself with the bigger picture. So every day keep checking yourself on three aspects. What is your intention? Where is your attention, right? And what kind of a attitude you are carrying? So these three things we need to take care of. Intention, what is my intention in the present moment, right? Where is my attention? Because our attention is very fragile. Given social media, we get lot of information, bombarded with information, and we get distracted very easily, right? It's very difficult to sustain our attention. So then third is attitude. Are we practicing the attitude of openness and kindness, self compassion with ourselves? It's very easy to say to someone, it's okay, it's up, ठीक हो जाएगा, don't worry, है ना? We keep on telling to other people that be kind, be gentle, don't worry. But when it comes to ourselves, if someone tells, we become this so much, we become so critical with our own self that there is no space for kindness. So practicing self kindness, self compassion, so openness, and even forgiving to your own self that it's okay, sometimes we all make mistake, we can't be perfect, there's no definition for being perfect. So these are the things we need to keep practicing and checking on daily basis. Where is my attention, or what is my attention? Where is my attention? Am I focusing on my negative thing, or am I focusing on what I'm supposed to do? Whether my intention or attention match with it, or then what is like a attitude I'm carrying present moment? Is it a negative or optimistic? Being open, and then constantly having this attitude of gratitude, then self compassion, self kindness, right? Now I have this some statements on the screen for you, for yourself, just to become aware about your own well-being. So you can see like how often you feel all these things. I experience worry, fear, or nervousness. I often feel on edge or tense. You can see yes or no, whatever. Or my anxiety interferes with my daily life and activities. I frequently feel sad, hopeless, or helpless. I have lost interest in activities I used to enjoy. I experience changes in sleep patterns or appetite. Then is I struggle to manage stress and experience physical symptom. I find it challenging to relax or switch off from work and worries. Aisha, we can go ahead. Then about the relationship, my relationship with friends and family are strained or have become distant. I have difficulty communicating my emotions and needs to other. I neglect self-care routines and healthy habits. I don't prioritize time for activity that bring me joy and relaxation. Then is coping strategy. I have difficulty identifying using effective coping strategy. I useful, these are very unhelpful behavior like avoidance, self isolation, or indulge in substance use to cope up with this stress. We can go ahead. If you want, I can share these pointers maybe after the presentation
I
with
think that would
Aisha.
be perfect. Yeah, it would be
Right.
nice if you can share this pointers with people, so that they can read through. For now, I
Right.
was also thinking that the girls are around, and it's like obviously it's been an informative session, but we would take the queries now, as it would take another 10-15 minutes.
Right.
So quickly, there have been already many queries. If anyone wants to ask, you can, but we can also read through the queries that's already mentioned in the chat box.
Right. Maybe
So,
we can just
yes.
start. Aisha, you can take on this
Yes,
question.
I will do so. Radia is raising hand. Yes, Radia.
Excuse me.
Yes, Zani.
Yeah, I have a question. Like, if we are following the checklist every day, the checklist which was discussed right now, I suppose then we need not visit any psychologist or any specialist then, if all the things are going on 100 point.
See, when you and also this checklist is not to you, not to be used on daily basis. This is like whenever like in a month or a say, you just keep on having a check on like how in all aspects of my life we are feeling, because there will be days where we are feeling extremely low. It's very important to see a pattern. If it's going over 2 to 3 weeks, then there is a need to reconsider, and like you need to consult a professional. But then on a daily basis we will have, sometimes we might feel low in our work front, or we might feel low at professional front. So there will be uh, times in during the day also when we feel positive, energetic, and there might be times when we might feel low. So it's very important to see a pattern over a period of time, instead of just concluding, okay, today I'm feeling perfectly fine and tomorrow I'm not feeling fine, so there is something to go by. So this is just to become aware, and if you're feeling something not going in that way, then it's important to reflect upon what is the thing which is bothering me, what are these thoughts, and what can be done with these thoughts, whether I need a professional support or I need to share something, whether I'm using some healthy coping strategies, or these are like I'm keeping or suppressing these thoughts with myself, not sharing with someone, or are these self-harming behavior are there, like just to keep an eye on these things, so that we are aware about that these are important parameters. And Because of my thoughts, feeling, how I feel, how I think are not impacting my these domains, right?
So
Yeah,
Dr.
thank you so
Soumya,
much.
yeah. Okay. So we have couple of questions. We'll try to address them very quickly so that we can take up more queries. Okay. The very common one is how to control anger.
Right. So, as we mentioned, that anger is a big feeling, right? We know that it's a big feeling, and emotions are on a spectrum. So, when we say, anger is just arising, that's the manifestation of underlying deep emotion. So, I might be feeling frustrated or irritating, and when anger, manifests, then there are things which are not going to our expectations, or someone is giving other statement. So it's very important on daily basis how I practice mindfulness of emotion. So for example, if I'm aware, if I'm practicing or acknowledging my emotion, whenever you are feeling angry, if there is a space, go and reflect and sit with that emotion, right? Observe your emotion as the way it arises in your body, and then see your emotions as the waves in the ocean. Your emotions are arising, anger is arising, and bringing your attention to your breath as you breathe in, and focus on your belly, focus on your stomach when you are breathing in and breathing out. When you are breathing in, notice that this emotion is a wave in the ocean, and when you are breathing out, this is again a wave in the ocean. So that's the one way. Then second step is acknowledging your emotion, and third step is looking at your thought, what all thoughts you are getting in that moment, right? Whether these thoughts are helpful or real, or whether these thoughts are something my mind requires validation, or something that I wanted to share with something. So then you will get to know like what kind of a thoughts I'm getting, whether these are the situations which always make me feel angry or upset. Then definitely we need to address those situations. We need to look at the belief system, what are these negative automatic thought patterns we are get, and understanding these negative automatic thought and our belief system, then we can actually work upon this thing. But on day to day routine basis, practicing mindful breathing and mindfulness of emotions will help us to deal with the anger.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Soumya. There's another thing that people say, one, two, three, counting till 10. Does that work?
Yeah, these are yeah.
Any
These are
other
very
strategies?
distracting strategies, like writing down your thoughts,
Mm.
right? That can be there. Then going away from that situation is possible, and also what is working. So as I shared with you, that emotion brain structure, ground floor and the first floor. So whenever there is any situation, anyone knocks at the emotional brain immediately act out. So our anger comes immediately, and thinking brain is not able to think, because our emotions have overpowered our thinking brain, hijack that. So it's always recommended to practice mindful breathing or a deep breathing, so that our emotions emotional brain gets settled down and give a signal to a thinking brain to reconsider the situation from a different perspective. So that's why it's always recommended, go away from that situation, drink a water, count 1 to 3, or practice deep breathing, so that you are able to settle down that emotion and you get that space in your mind where you are away from this stimulus in your head and see the situation from a different perspective.
Thank you. Someone asked me about overthinking pattern, how to control that. So if we can have a quick answer for this one.
Right. So basically, when we sit on daily basis, right? So practicing mindfulness can help us to overcome the state of overthinking, right? So what happens is that when we are practicing mindfulness, we are actually um observing our thoughts, we are observing our feelings, we are observing our breath. So then when we sit with our thoughts, we will notice that these thoughts are repetitive in nature, they are transitory in nature, they are not like permanent. So for example, if we practice right now, you will notice that one thought comes, then there is another thought, then there is a third thought. So there is a series of chains, right? So overthinking or rumination, these are the task of our mind, right? So the nature of our mind is to just keep producing thoughts. Scientists call our mind as a thought producing machine. So our mind loves to think, either to think about the future, or maybe something has happened in the past, anticipate or ruminate. So or over planning about the thing. So when we observe our thoughts, sit with our thought, then we are able to notice that these thoughts are transitory in nature. And instead of indulging in our thought, the moment you become aware that okay, my mind is getting or producing these thoughts, immediately we bring our attention back to our breath, right? So noticing, keep checking your attention from time to time. Step 1, like keep checking your attention. Okay, where is my attention right now? Am I producing so many thoughts? Then next step is to reorient your attention back to your breath, because breath will immediately disconnect you and bring your attention back to the present moment. That will help you, and with the consistent practice you can actually overcome with the pattern of overthinking. So overthinking is a task of our mind, and practicing mindfulness help us to bring our attention back to the present moment. Thinking is also continuous overthinking process pattern is also related with depression, state of depression. So
All
what
right.
we have to do, we have to disengage our mind with the overthinking and engage with our breath.
Maybe we can ask the questions directly. Radhya is here. She wants to ask. Since some of the people have already left, maybe we can address the questions of the people who are here with us.
Yes. Firstly, Dr. Soamya, thank you for the insightful session. I wanted to ask Dr. Soamya that if someone is physically unwell, we have some visible signs for it. And if someone is mentally going through something, they can easily hide with a smile on their face. So, what is the one major sign we can get, like help, which will help us in reaching out to them, so that the person is going through something? What is the, because it's mental, I think if someone is going through something, with a smile on the faces, it can be easily hidden. I feel that. So,
Hmm.
what is the major thing which we can get, like, to help, which we can help them,
Right.
the
So
sign?
most important thing is that listening to that person, asking open-ended question, not giving your advices to that person and giving these statement, okay, everything will be all right and all, because then that person will feel that there's no point of sharing because you are not able to understand my pain. So listening with a completely non-judgmental attitude, where you are not bringing your judgment or your experiences, giving them a space where they can feel that they can share everything with you. So practicing mindful listening, where you are listening them in a non-judgmental attitude and really showing interest that their feeling matters to you, right? So that
Okay.
can be really helpful.
Okay. Being a good listener to the person first. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Anybody else, girls? Rohakti, yes.
Thank you, Soamya, for the session, and Aisha, you too. So my thing is like being showing an happiness, like fake happiness. Is it right, or we need to work on it? Because we, by the time the kids come, or by the time the relatives are in, or we show a fake happiness. Is and that get habituated. That fake happiness is an habit. It became a part and parcel of the life. Every morning, even you're tired, you give smile to the kids saying good morning. But we know it's happy, but again it's a fake happiness. So anything on that where we can
Right.
improve, because it's we know it but unable to overcome it. Like
Hmm.
any small tip or
Right.
anything.
So, in long run, it's not at all helpful, because then one, that we are not being genuine and you are stretching yourself, because you don't want to, show your genuine feelings to your kid, and you are just trying to avoid your feeling, hiding your genuine feeling. Then, long run, like it, it will impact your physical and mental health. Second thing is that, if we are not genuine, then again our kids are also learning from you, that, sharing feelings, how you are feeling with, with yourself, it's something not important. And then if you are ignoring yourself, not taking care of yourself, then also our kids are learning that self care is not as important. It's last thing. So fake happiness is not full, basically. So what can be done? So even though you have rushed morning or something, it's very important, like, whenever you get up in the morning, spend just 5 minutes with yourself, knowing how you are feeling internally, how is your breath, what kind of a thoughts you are having, whether you had a sound sleep in the night or not. And you know just taking those 5 minutes where you are observing your breath coming in and going out, observing your thoughts, how you are feeling, then you are aligning your mind, body, and your breath. Right? There is a sync, there is a harmony between your mind, body, and breath, and then you are, setting a tone for your day. And that will help you, even will nurture a relationship with your kids as well, because then they know that, okay, we all feel tired, we all feel, and there's nothing, like, we are not, it's not a sign of weakness if we are not able to cope up with our day to day routine life, right? It's rather important to share whatever you are experiencing, and then you will get a support from, your family as well. So I would suggest, like, be genuine, whatever, no need to hide your feelings and all, and do take care of your own mental health. Taking out just 5 to 10 minutes from your busy schedule will make a lot of difference.
We have one more query here from Fatima. Uh, she's a mother of two boys, and her younger son is having apraxia. He's going through therapies, handling him and to handle all the family members because of his behavior. Sometimes it's very stressful to her. Her mental health is very much disturbed because after this, she has to look after the whole family and everything, it seems.
Right, I can understand, Fatima. It's very difficult to, to manage everything, and taking the child every day for a therapy, and expectations of other family member, managing yourself. It can be very emotionally taxing for a mother. So it's very important, when you are taking care of your family and your kids, first and foremost thing is to take care of your own mental health, because when you are perfectly fine, when you are able to handle your emotion, then only you will be able to give your best to your family and your kids. So for example, if you are having people around who are giving you some judgmental statement, it's very important to nurture self compassion. Don't imbibe those statements, because the people around us will say, but then we have to choose where we want to pay attention, whether we want to pay attention to the Positive aspect, what is my purpose, what is my intention, or I want to focus on the other people as statements. So you have to choose, and for that you need to have that bandwidth, that emotional strength, and that emotional stability. And how that can come by taking care of your own self. So it's very important to take out at least 5 to 10 minutes from your hectic schedule every day, though you have so many responsibilities. Just taking out 10 minutes where you are trying to notice your breath, your thoughts, your feelings will help you a lot connecting with yourself. Practice lot of self compassion and non judgmental attitude towards yourself. Then you will be able to practice, uh, this experience this happiness within yourself, and you will be able to spread this happiness within your family and with your kids as well. And
Okay. Yeah. One last one will take Miss Dr. Soumya. There is a question from
yes,
Aisha here. AISH, yeah, Aisha. She's asking, please, can you explain mindful breathing?
yes, right. So actually we were like,
Shall I put you on spotlight?
yeah, that's fine.
You are going to show how to practice that, yeah? Mindfulness.
Yes, yes.
Okay, done.
Can we practice? We have a time
Is it going
or
to take 5 minutes? 2 minutes?
less than, yeah, less than that.
Okay, done.
Right. So I would invite everyone to sit in a comfortable position. Just take a moment to know how are you feeling right now. Make yourself comfortable wherever you are sitting. And take a deep breath in and breathe out from your mouth. And then gently close your eyes. Breathing in and breathing out normally and naturally. Notice your in breath as you breathe in, and notice your out breath as you breathe out. Allow your mind to wander. Whatever thoughts are coming, gently allow them to come in and go. You're just sitting silently. Allow your thoughts to come and go. We are just simply sitting and observing these thoughts coming and going. Now just see if you can catch your next breath coming in and going out. Observe your each breath as it enters your nostril and as it leaves your body. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. With the next in breath, we will hear the sound of mindful bell. Initially, the sound of the bell will be loud, and slowly and gradually it will fade away. Just take a moment to notice where is your attention right now. Notice if you can bring your attention back to the sound of bell. Now, with this awareness, you can gently open your eyes. Right, that's how I tried because we were having less time and also tried to incorporate mindful listening and breathing together. Uh, can anyone share how you are feeling with the practice and what did you notice?
So it's kind of very relaxed and calming. For a
Right.
person like me, my mind is all over the place. I have to take so many decisions in a day and manage so many people. And yeah, so for me, channelizing in one place, it's a very difficult thing. I end up falling asleep. So I can't watch TV. It's very difficult for me to watch TV because that's one activity I do. It's not like that otherwise. So it's I could manage doing this. It's nice.
Hmm. Right. So basically, when we practice mindfulness, we are able to try to focus our attention on one particular thing. So why breathing? Because breath is very neutral and 24/7 we are breathing in, and breath is like helps us immediately connect with our mind and body. So that's why we recommend mindful breathing. It's a very scientific, and also practicing mindful breathing on daily basis, like before you start your day and all, you actually align your mind and body, and you are setting a tone for the day also, and you are able to focus on whatever you want to do. Your attention get better, and you get better clarity on what you are supposed to do. And during the daytime also, whenever you feel restless, that's the moment, take a mindful break. Just take a moment to notice how is your body feeling, and try to focus on your breath by bringing your attention to your breath. And every time you practice, you will notice that your mind will wander off. That's absolutely fine, because mind is like, my nature is to think about so many things, to think about so many tasks, about planning, about ruminating what we did. Every time we bring our attention back, every time you are training your brain muscle to be in the present moment, because life only exists in present moment. Future is not yet here, past has gone, so present moment is only what we have. And the moment right now we are breathing, our life depends on this breath. So simply by paying attention to your breath, you are making yourself happy. You are training your brain muscles to be in the present moment. And also, that way you are helping your mind to disengage with overthinking, ruminating, over planning, or multiple thoughts, or maybe self criticism. You are just disengaging all brain activities and bringing your mind to the present moment is the only gift, only thing you can practice, and you can take care of your mental health.